Okay guys, welcome to Talking News. Sorry I am late getting this story out, but you guys are familiar with the Andreen McDonald story that the grandparents were fighting over the custody of the granddaughter and the finances, the home, etc. Andreen McDonald has been missing since March 1st and presumed dead by law enforcement. But her husband he's on house arrest. He's not allowed to be around the daughter that Andreen and Andre McDonald have together. Andre McDonald is actually out on bond for tampering with evidence. And that's all that they have on him at the moment. But they do suspect that Andre McDonald has something to do with the fact that Andreen McDonald is missing. So today, Miss Smith and which is Andreen's mother, and her father appeared in court. According to a few articles, say that they clashed Tuesday as they try to determine the best way to care for the woman's 8-year-old daughter. Anderson is the grandfather, and Miss Smith, because I cannot say her first name, is the grandmother of the little girl. And the maternal grandmother testified that she has been in constant presence in her granddaughter's life, making her the one that should have temporary custody over the child. But Paul Anderson, the girl's grandfather, which is the maternal grandfather, says that Smith is irresponsible and has failed to help the girl with her homework, get her any type of counseling, or even provide her with regular nutritional meals. Quote, "She is like a totally different person," end quote, Anderson says of his granddaughter, who authorities believe could have witnessed her mother being injured or even killed. Now, what Anderson is probably referring to when they think the child should have counseling, she's been saying some things like, "I'm going to cut you." She started to say things like, "I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to burn you. I'm going to turn you into bacon." Which is definitely a sign that the child is needing counseling. And I'm sure Miss Smith will be working on that. Let's hope she is. But as they bicker back and forth of who, takes care of the child better, who is properly handled, able to handle the child, etc. and so on, in the end, Judge David A. Canellis, I hope I said that right, ruled that Miss Smith should have primary custody of the girl on a temporary basis, allowing Smith to establish the child's residence and make decisions regarding her medical care. He allowed Anderson to visit the girl 1 weekend a month and to consult with school officials regarding her education. I think the judge was a little disappointed because his quote was this is certainly a very tragic case. I think you both care for the child and her well-being," end quote. Anderson, the grandfather, testified Tuesday that he began to worry about the well-being of the granddaughter, which has a high-functioning autism, shortly after his daughter went missing. Anderson, who lives in England, is 57 years old and has been staying in San Antonio for temporary with Miss Smith, who is also 63, if I can talk here, guys. Originally from Jamaica, they split up years ago when Andreen was just a baby. He said he raised Andreen until she was 15. Now, on several occasions since he arrived in San Antonio, Anderson testified Smith was not home to pick her granddaughter from the bus stop after school. He also says Smith did not provide the girl with nutritional meals, instead giving her a muffin or a meal replacement shake instead for seniors. Testimony confirmed earlier in the day by one of Andreen McDonald's friends, Jade Cato. The grandfather said that on another occasion he saw the grandmother roughly dragging the girl. She was roughly dragging the girl across the floor in an effort to get her to school. Anderson said, quote, "I spoke to her. I said, Maureen, you cannot treat her like that. What I would do, I would talk to her and encourage her to go to school. I would tell her, come on, baby, you have to go to school. When you come back from school, Granddad will lend you my phone to play games," end quote. According to this article, after the girl began saying things like, quote, "I'm going to kill myself," end quote, Anderson said he left kind words on note cards around the house to encourage the girl to say those things instead. He said he also researched counseling services for autistic children who have experienced some sort of trauma. Anderson testified that he provided Smith with the names and numbers of counselors, but said she didn't want to do anything with them, at least to his knowledge. Jean Brown, an attorney representing Smith, said Smith did try to enroll the girl in counseling, but was told she couldn't until she became a legal guardian, which makes sense. And that's what I don't understand. Why is there not a legal guardian as soon as something happened? These people really have been left in the cold. Nobody's guided them and nobody's helped them whatsoever. Now, according to Anderson, the internet, cable TV services, they were cut off in the McDonald's family home last week after bills weren't paid. Anderson said he asked Smith how to access the family's 2 postal mailboxes, but she didn't have the code. But on April 5th, Anderson filed a petition in Bexar County District Court asking the judge to appoint him the sole managing conservator of the girl and the couple's property, which he said was necessary so he could help support the child. Okay, so I want to pause here a second and let's talk about this. So, the last one that we read, we didn't have very much information what was going on. All we knew is the grandmother was caring for the child since 2011. And according to a lot of people, that wasn't it didn't seem to be an issue. She seemed to be a good caretaker, and then suddenly he's saying all these things. It just seems to me that she doesn't she's going through a lot herself right now and probably needs some guidance. And should she had counseling for that kid right away? Absolutely. She should have sought counsel for the child ASAP. And hopefully she does that. But what I'm wondering is why in the world can't these two work together? They both have good ideas of taking care of the child. Miss Smith has been in a child's life since the day she's been born, so it's good to see her every day considering what she's been through. And Anderson has some good logic on how to raise a child and how to handle situations. Why don't they work as a team? That's probably most important, but we're going to continue with this article that we're going over. So, quote, "The child requires a substantial care and personal supervision because of a mental or physical disability and or because recent events surrounding the disappearance of her mother," end quote, the suit alleged. Now, Edward Cano, Anderson's attorney, said the petition was extended to be a routine measure to establish a girl's guardian in the absence of her parents. But Brown said Smith was unaware of that Anderson was seeking custody of the child until a week after the petition was filed. She found out from Andreen McDonald's mother, which we don't hear much about, which is very interesting. Where is Andreen McDonald's parents? During her testimony Tuesday, Smith did not specifically address some of Anderson's claims. Smith, who lived with her daughter and son-in-law, said her granddaughter was a happy child before her mother's disappearance. But she said it has become clear in recent weeks that the child needs additional help. So this must all these things that are happening with the child and these dark things that she's saying must have been recent. So now, she really hasn't had time to look into it. We don't know, but, it sounds like that's what's going on. She provided a few details answering attorneys' questions with yes or no. Prosecutors handling the criminal case against Andreen McDonald watched day-long hearings from the gallery, but didn't weigh in. At the end of their proceedings, Brown argued Smith may have different parenting techniques than Anderson, for example, by providing meal replacement shakes instead of home-cooked meals. But that alone did not make her unfit to have primary custody of her granddaughter. Quote, "No one said that this child's needs are not being met," end quote, according to Brown said. Now, Julie, I don't know how to say this last name, Hostroff, a lawyer representing Andreen McDonald, who listened to Tuesday's testimony by telephone, agreed that Smith should have custody at least temporarily. The one constant in the girl's life is Miss Smith, she said. And it pretty much ended with, "I thank you so much," the family said, embracing Brown. So what people are thinking about is the fact of what is in the child's life and that she is used to. The last thing you want to do is create more stress or trauma for a kid with autism, especially. Now, with the child saying those words and those kind of dark phrases that she's saying, it's basically telling us that she is under extreme stress. But you know what, guys? The worst thing that we can do under a tragic or sad story that can happen to any of us at any time is not work together as a team. So hopefully these guys can work this situation out. Maybe they can work together, because they are going through hell just as much as that girl is, or even worse. And even more devastating is the fact that it doesn't look like Miss Andreen McDonald is coming back. We are all rooting for her to come back. We were all hoping it was some crazy thing. Maybe she was in rehab. Maybe, she was in a hospital. Nobody knew her name. But it seems as the days pass by, this is the reality, is that she is gone. And the fact that Andreen McDonald's attorney said to us once, don't jump to conclusions. I was hoping maybe they knew something we didn't, and just going along with the game, because they didn't want people to know where she was. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be, that way. So while we're all worried about the granddaughter's well-being, we must also hope that Miss Smith also seeks counseling and has better advice for her and more people to help her out, as well as the grandfather, because the grandfather doesn't seem like a terrible person. We don't know them, of course. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. But it just seems to me, you know, seeing what a fine young lady Miss Andreen McDonald turned out to be, that they have to be decent parents. Now, I did get a chance to speak with one family member, and they were very polite to me. They asked me not to say nothing, and so I didn't. But as this unfolds and as we move more into the future, we will find out more information. Now, there's one thing I want to talk to you guys about. This picture, guys, is pictures inside the house and outside the house of the birthday party decorations for Andreen McDonald. And they were still up when Andreen disappeared, so if you're wondering what that is. But now remember, in my other videos, if you guys want to know details of what's happened in this case, you can refer back to my older videos. They've been pretty popular. The Andreen McDonald videos, people really seem to like those. And I try to put as much detail in them as I can, that I'm allowed to put in anyways. But remember the volunteers that I was telling you about. We have that Facebook page that I was telling you guys about, where it's mostly volunteers that run that page. Well, it seems these people have been searching their butts off, and they're getting exhausted. It's interfering with their everyday lives, but they're very dedicated and very persistent to find Andreen McDonald. The thing is some of them have injuries, some of them are mentally exhausted, and they're looking for more people to volunteer their time to help search for Andreen McDonald. Okay guys, you might hear birds and stuff in the background. I do these things on my spare time. Usually I'm doing my walks outside or something like that. But anyways, so Fox San Antonio is saying that nearly 2 months after the disappearance of another search is being organized in hopes of finding the missing mom, Andreen McDonald. The search is scheduled for this Saturday coming up, April 27th, and will be conducted with ATVs. So organizers say they are looking for volunteers and ATVs. If you are interested in volunteering, you can meet up Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Community Bible Church. You're asked to bring your government identification card to sign in. And if I can remember, I'm going to post a link for the information in a description below. Okay guys, so if you are interested in helping out, make sure to let them know, because there's a lot of people out there who would like to take a break. I am sure of it. And as time goes on, they are losing volunteers, you know, because people start to forget and they move on with their lives. But we still have to find Andreen. We have to, for the daughter's sake. So if you're interested in staying and more aware of what's going on with Andreen McDonald, Linda Purnell is actually, she's like she leads this page, I believe, and right now they have a whopping 479 members. That's a lot of people, guys, that are interested in this missing mom. I will post a link to this group in the bottom in the descriptions as well, if I can talk right, guys. So Linda has really worked hard on this case. I tried to make sure that her and Nina and Levi and a lot of the groups that search as a team, they get recognized for their hard work, because they're out there, they're not getting paid to do this. They're doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. They care that this girl is found. Some of them are even domestic violence survivors. So good for them. I'm proud of them, and I love these guys. This is probably, in my opinion, the best Andreen McDonald group page. Now, the Red Shoe District also has one. They have good pages as well, but for the Andreen McDonald, I like Linda Purnell's group much. It has a little bit more information, keeps you a little bit up to date, a little better than the other ones, I think. But anyways, guys, I hope that we're able to find her. It just doesn't make sense, considering the fact that he really didn't have much time to hide her anywhere. In fact, if you think about it, the police were at her house at 1 p.m. the day she went missing. I mean, she didn't show up to the gym, she didn't show up to work, and boom, family, friends, police are there on it. So, actually, Andreen McDonald showed up to the house at 1 p.m. And he was caught by surprise, I'm sure. I don't think he was expecting police and family to catch on that quickly, but they did. And I still say the most important time frame for Andreen McDonald is after the girl went to school until 1 p.m. that day. Where was he at? So, and I've even calculated that he probably could have drove comfortable 45-mile radius away from the home and come back in time to meet police while still taking care of an issue. Now, I haven't heard from you guys in a while on this. I don't know how you feel about it now that some time has passed by. You found out some new information. You've had time to really think about it. So what do you guys think? Where do you think Andre might have put her, or what could have happened to Miss Andreen? I'll read the comments when I get time, and I always tell you guys that sometimes my notices are not working, so I've missed a few comments, but I eventually find them. But in my opinion, I believe he really didn't have much time to do anything, and I believe there's a lot of people that said look under the burn pit at their home, but I kind of changed my idea of that. I think there's perhaps a chance it's going to be in a concrete or an enclosement somewhere and up to 45 miles away from their home. One thing I do know is he used plastic bags, and depending on what his use for that was, dumps. I mean, dumps are definitely a possibility, and we all know, especially stories we've been watching lately, once bodies are taken to the dump and some time passes by, each day it's like putting a ton of gold on top of anybody that's been put there. So it's very difficult to find anything in a dump. In fact, I have to do this update on Kelsey Barrett because if you were keeping up with her case, it's a very horrifying case. Horrifying. They just stopped searching for her remains in the dump in Woodland Park. It was 2 months of searching. For some reason, I thought they were going to search 3 months. I don't know what happened that might have changed that, or if I got the wrong information. But the fact of the matter is that search is called off. It's no longer active, and that really makes you realize that, thank God, you do have a witness to testify in this case. Otherwise, it would have been clearly he would have got away with it. So the court hasn't happened yet. He hasn't even entered, Patrick Frazee has not entered a plea as of yet, but that is expected actually the month coming up. So at the end of next month, we should hear a plea finally from Patrick Frazee. As for Andreen McDonald and her family, we wish them blessings. We give them our hope. We give them our love and our prayers. So I hope that they do find her, as well as anybody else that's missing out there. Sometimes when you do these stories every single day, you sometimes lose the reality of the situation. And I have to bring myself back into the very first when I started this and remember that this is a very devastating story. It's very real and it's very sad. So, guys, let's cross our fingers, hope that she's found. Thanks so much for watching. Love you guys, and I will see you soon. And please subscribe and like. I work very hard on these. If you like the stories, if you don't, then don't bother. So we'll see you soon. Okay, I have a few shout outs, and I want to shout out to Judy. Love you, girl. My girl Sandra, she's always just left amazing comments, along with Jill's. Edna, she's kind of new. Tammy. Bernadette, Miss Mystery. Love you, Bernadette. And SYD Moth. I don't know how to say the first name. And I will add more shout outs later because these are the guys I truly enjoy reading their comments. I appreciate it. I can't name them all at one time, and if I happen to miss somebody, please don't be afraid to comment and say, you screwed up, girl. You forgot me. I don't forget you. It's just, sometimes you make mistakes. So, bye, guys.